stuff.
I'd like to call the meeting to order on Monday, October 7th, 2024, 6 p.m. at the Town Hall upstairs.
Yeah.
And I welcome everybody to come, and thank you for the foundation for coming. We need to adopt the agenda as presented. Can I have a motion, please? Or are there any additions or corrections first? Motion to accept. Second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. We have one set of minutes, and that's the minutes of September 16th, 2024. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes that were presented? If not, somebody make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
There's no other discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, all right. The Wyndham Foundation, I'd just like to say something before we start. I'm speaking to the board and I'm speaking for the residents here. We're very concerned about the cheese factory being sold. I have to tell you that. I went back and did a little history, and cheese was made here at Grafton back in the 1800s. And when the foundation came in, they kind of, I guess, resurrected the art. So it goes back a long time, and the factory's been here since, I think it was, I forget what the date was, but it's shortly after the foundation came in, I think, a couple of years after. So there's history here, and now the history might be gone. So I will turn it over, and you can explain to us what's going on and what can we expect.
Kurt out there.
Yeah.
Yep. Hi,
Right. First, can you hang on for a sec?
yes, my name is Kurt Alpeter. Sorry, you want to repeat?
Yeah, Kurt, if you can hang on just a second, Stan. I just want to say a quick word before Kurt jumps in. Hi, I'm Dan Lerner, the Executive Director of the Foundation. Many of you have met, many of you I have not. So good to see the ones I know, and look forward to meeting people I don't yet know. I wanted to say a couple of words before Kurt gets on and explain a little bit about why Kurt and I and Angela are all here. And I want to say this in the context of conversations I've been having around town. About a year and a half ago, the board of the foundation changed the structure of things a little bit. My predecessor, Bob Donald, had a different role than the one that I occupy. I'm the executive director of the foundation, and Angela is the general manager of the inn. She also has a secondary role to the foundation. Kurt is the CEO of the cheese company. They're three different things, but we all work together, which is why all three of us are joining. I'm sorry Kurt can be here in person, but we're glad that we can. I just wanted to make sure that that was understood. Again, because I've been in a couple of individual conversations where people have thought that, oh, Dan, you're the new CEO of the foundation. That's actually not the case. We have a good shared relationship among the three executives. So Kurt, I'm sorry I cut you off, but
So,
please go ahead.
A question though, then who runs the foundation, and who runs the overall? There is nobody?
Well,
Yep.
again, sorry, I'm talking.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Again, the foundation, I am the executive director of the foundation. That includes the inn and that includes the cheese company. The three of us all work together in concert on all three parts of the foundation. And of course, the board is above all three of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to add to that real quickly, first of all, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there in person tonight, but appreciate you guys giving us a little bit of time to talk through this. It's obviously very big news. And just to add briefly with to what Dan was saying, we have on the board of the foundation, there are three committees, primary committees, one for the inn, one for the cheese company, and one for the foundation. And I essentially report into a subcommittee of the board. As does, Dan, for the most part, and Angela has a subcommittee that she works directly with. So the board had divided up into these three committees, which is a very effective way of doing things as well. So a gentleman that you saw quoted in the press release, Tim Briglin, is essentially the head of the committee within the foundation that runs the cheese company. So that's just some added color there. So let me just start, I guess, by saying that, I came on board about a year ago to really try and grow this business and get it back to, the days when it was a more thriving organization. I think without getting into a lot of the history, everyone's, aware of the Brattleboro plant, the move to it, and then the move back to Grafton. In concert with that, we had to get out of our retail operation, which was a very thriving, successful storefront down in Brattleboro. We moved up to Okemo Valley, and that was obviously a lot of effort and a lot of work. Added complexity was the flood a year ago right now that set us back a little bit. And so there's been just a host of things that have occurred over the last, frankly, year, but also 5 years that we were really trying to correct and right the ship. And I've spent, the last 10 months essentially trying to understand all the moving parts in terms of where, our biggest exposure was, but also where our biggest opportunity was. And the net of it is that there is a lot of opportunity for this business. Uh, However, there is also a lot of capital and resources, and just the nature of running small business these days. I'm sure, as most of you know, it's challenging. It's very challenging. And so when we looked at everything, we felt in order to take the most advantage of the opportunity this company has, and it's already proven itself. So this isn't like a normal, startup business that you're kind of wondering if it can be successful. We know it can. However, again, after a lot of deliberation and thought, we said, look, is the foundation at this stage of the game, given everything that's happened historically with it, and given 2024, the world that we live in from a business standpoint, is it the right partner for us to move the needle forward on, again, just about every level? I mean, sure, it's financial, but it's also access to markets and a host of other things that are going out there. We sit kind of in the middle. We're not a farmstead cheesemaker, right, which is a mom and pop kind of organization. There's any number of really successful ones like that. And we're not certainly, the Cabots of the world either. And so we kind of sit in the middle where we have sort of grown-up needs, if you will, from a medium-sized company, but we're not quite big enough to do all that on our own, and we're not small enough to really run it in a again, a very cottage sort of homestead-based type of business. So that is another kind of component to this whole thing. And I essentially said, look, in order for us to get to that next level, get back to where we were, it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some serious resource. And candidly, I felt like we needed some access and some partnering that we're just not going to be able to do with the foundation. And so that is ultimately what caused us to make the decision to do this. It's really, in the end, what is the most likely potential success for the cheese company? Is that with the foundation, or is that in the hands of someone with some additional and different resources? And it was an extremely, extremely hard decision. I talked to, the board and, the folks that have been in that company longer than I have. And I can tell you how hard it was for me, let alone the folks that have been at this 10 and, 20 years or more. So we also considered a great deal of other options and alternatives to the equation, and, spent a lot of sort of debating and kind of arm wrestling a little bit about different ways to come at this. And in the end, we settled on this is the right thing, as hard as that decision is. So I hope that little bit of added context, just, beyond what was in the press release, is helpful.
More question?
Mhm.
So are you saying, so are you saying, the foundation, with a buyer coming in, that the foundation would have no stake in the Grafton Cheese Company?
That's correct. That's most likely what can happen. Certainly a partnership. One of the words that we used in the press release was the word partner. And it's not out of the question that a partnership could evolve in this mix. That's um, a very, it's hard to say exactly what that might look like. I think it's fair to say at this stage of the game, that's less likely to occur than an outright purchase. And we've already have interest in this. We're very pleased with the initial folks that have expressed some interest. We're going to work extremely hard. I would say, um, I would argue say that it's kind of the priority, if you will, or the top priorities are preserving the operational business in Grafton is a absolute significant priority. We've already conveyed that to all the folks that we're speaking with. Preserving as many of the jobs, and if we're lucky, increasing the jobs that are available here. And then, certainly there's a financial consideration, but it is of utmost important right now for us if we can pull it off, and we're we're going to do everything we can to try and find someone that will keep the operating business in Grafton. And I think there's a lot of reason why I think a potential suitor would want to do that.
Can you share those reasons with us? Why do you think someone would stay
Well,
here and not take it
sure.
elsewhere? It might be more cost efficient, so.
Well, because the brand this is a place-based business, and its history, its legacy, its roots, and what makes it somewhat, as iconic as it is because it is in Grafton and all the wonderful things that go along with anything that happens in Grafton. And so to pull that, I mean, the equity of this business is significantly in the brand. I mean, as Joe pointed out at the beginning of the meeting, this is a company that has deep, deep legacy and history, more so than just about anyone other than Crowley. I think Crowley's the only older cheesemaker in the state, let alone I think potentially New England. So to pull that out of Grafton, you're losing the authenticity of the brand. And if anyone is smart, that's going to be a huge consideration, let alone the fact that, yes, we have a plant and, is it aging? Sure. Is it need capital and improvements? Of course, but it has a lot of potential as well to continue to grow and produce this product. And that's the main reason why you'd want to keep it here, because that's a huge part of the value of what they're buying.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, right.
I guess it's my hope with this news that we've got some folks here in Grafton that may have the means monetarily to get together with several people and partner. I mean, that's a hope that I had to keep it here, because Grafton cheese, as Joe started to mention, there's history here. There's economy here for it to thrive, to keep people that are working there, and it's a tourist attraction. People come in and say, where's the Grafton cheese?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my kind of dream right now and hope.
Well, I would echo it personally, and I can tell you, I think there's a lot of folks that echo it beyond me. And there was a clear decision that we made here. This is an unusual process, right? Typically, in any type of acquisition scenario, it's all done behind closed doors. It's all done very privately. It gets negotiated and then it gets announced. And we felt that for a variety of reasons, one of them you just mentioned, Kathy, is that to make this public, because this brand is valuable and because it has this deep legacy, we thought that one, it was the right thing to do for our team. It was the right thing to do for the town and the community, is to give folks, a heads up on the changes that were afoot. And we think it's good from just a business standpoint in terms of garnering interest. I mean, that press release was picked up. A number of folks have reached out in the business community that have said, hey, I saw the press release. People that I wouldn't have necessarily known or reached out to proactively. So from both business community and our staff, we felt like being very public with this was very important. And my hope is a shared one with you. I think if there is a group of people that perhaps have interest, all I can say is we are all ears and we would gladly entertain that. And it is also one of those many options that we contemplated prior to even doing this. It was, did we know individually a group of investors that might be interested in doing this? And we felt like we needed to make it public and throw that net a little bit wider than the small group we were talking to.
Anybody here have any questions or comments? Lisa?
Hi, thanks, Joe. Hi, Kurt. I'm Lisa Gissel. We've met before. Thanks for speaking to us. And so you were talking about the hope of keeping the facility and the employees. Just a basic question first. How many employees does the cheese company have currently?
25.
25. And to the extent that you're able to answer this question, would keeping operations here and providing employment to those employees be a condition of a sale?
It's possible. It gets a little tricky, right? In a transaction, think of it like selling your house. Sometimes you want to keep a stipulation or something in that would be important, that perhaps you can get some of it with the buyer, you may not. I mean, we are going to do everything we can to keep it operational. And again, if someone buys this, and I don't want to, because I don't want to project too much on this, but when people buy it, right, they want to grow it, they want to build it, and so it is a very plausible notion to think that they would not just retain these folks, but ideally, grow it. Now, could there be overlap of specific functionalities that maybe they have that they can find economies of scale? Of course. I mean, I think that's a high probability. So are there going to be some changes? I think that's, a fair statement. But if they keep it operational, they're going to want to build and grow it. You just wouldn't leave it untouched. And so my hope is we can find someone that wants to do that. Whether or not we can make it a stipulation in the agreement is another piece that I just don't know until we get into it.
Understand. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just if there isn't, just one last parting comment. As Dan pointed out, Dan, Angela, and myself work extremely closely together. I mean, we're very, very much sort of work in concert. We meet every single week and touch base. We are very tight and very close with the board in terms of how this is all playing out. And I'll just reiterate that we will do everything we can to keep folks apprised proactively, and where we can, we'll try and let the community and or the paper know in advance of things hitting. That's always a little bit tricky doing that, but we're going to do everything we can to get this company on solid ground again with a partner that can give this thing another long runway ahead of it. And we'll do everything we can to communicate that as transparently as we can. And just there's folks there that have my email. By all means, you're more than welcome to email me. It's just Kurt, CURT at GraftonVillageCheese.com. Please don't hesitate. I'm in town on a regular basis, and like Dan and Angela, I love to get together and chat with folks or get together at the end or whatever it might be. But please don't be bashful about reaching out if there are questions.
Okay, go ahead. Somebody?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I have a question and a comment. If you need to get any information to the town, because the paper comes out monthly, you can always go to Morgan. We have the website and we have the ability to spread that word. Obviously, we're not the paper, so we can't give, but at least we can keep people apprised. My other question that I have is, and I'm not sure who's gonna answer this question is that apparently, I guess, you have broken into three different things here. You have the foundation, you have the cheese factory, and you have the tavern. Okay, over the years, things have disintegrated. You had a nursery, that's gone. Now the cheese factory is gonna be gone. Is the inn next?
No.
Is the foundation gonna take the inn and do what they do? We're very concerned about that.
Well, and here's clearly, no. No, this has nothing to do with the end.
Okay.
I have a question, you're saying you're gonna have some, communication with us. Even this notice was, we had no knowledge, and it came out. On your committees, is there anybody that's representing this town?
Yeah, maybe I can take that one. I did contact all of you with this information prior to it going out. I hope you got, I didn't.
No, we
get back
did,
to
we
any
did.
of that, so I got it.
No, we got.
Yeah, so when you questions like that, you certainly, please come to me, those sorts of things about communication, and we all do communication, but. Yeah, and it's part of my role is to try to be the face to the community, so.
I understand that, I guess my question is beyond that.
Oh.
Is there somebody on your committees
Without question, Kathy.
in the town?
Without question, I mean, I just, to be very broad with it first is every person on the board has the interest of the town in a very significant way. Now, there's folks that are closer to the board, right, physically, or to the town physically. You know, you obviously have Suzanne, who's right there. There's folks that live close by Brattleboro or you know, the Upper Valley and locations like that. You know, which, you know, being by proximity and living here, obviously have a significant interest. But there are, from employees to the board members to specific people on each committee, there is a deep sense and awareness for the impact of all these decisions, not just this one, on the town and the community.
And I'm the chair of the Inn Committee, and I'm also the treasurer of the foundation. So I was involved in all the financial analysis that went into this decision, and I concur with it.
Well, thanks for the explanation.
Anybody else have any questions? If not, I want to thank you for coming here and let us know, and I would hope that in your search that you will find an individual or corporation or whatever that would like to keep the cheese factory here in town, rather than moving it to another location, because that would be a big for this town if that building sits there. It has no use for anything else other than a manufacturing facility. So that's my hope, is that that's what happens.
We're working very hard to make sure that is, and we share that desire 100%. Thank you for having us.
All right, well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Suzanne,
What?
what's it gonna do from the last thing? It's a good question, yes. Suzanne,
Highways, the next item is the highway.
Hail.
Lived in Burlington.
Oh, Burlington.
Well,
But he's down here about 3 days or a week.
yeah, why don't you come up here so we can see you, so we can hear you better.
Well, here.
Either one,
Alright. What do you want me to start with the fire pond thing again?
whatever.
I don't know, you guys, didn't talk to you about the prices. I had the 2 prices about mowing it. I got 2.
Yeah, we got 2 prices, do you want to tell the prices?
I mean, it wasn't really a.
We don't,
Do you wanna know what the price was in an open meeting, or do you want us to?
Were these bids?
No, I was just asked to get prices, so I got prices.
Tell us again.
They were informal, verbal
Yeah.
Yeah.
prices. From two local contractors.
I
Well,
tried three and.
I guess my question is that, are we gonna accept one of these, or are we gonna bid it out again? Because if we're gonna bid it out again,
Well, if you guys,
We can't open-
actually want to put out the bid.
we can't
you need to make
have
a
an open
decision
meeting.
before I say anything. Or do you want to just pick someone and vote on it? Yeah, they both know each other's price too. So,
I mean, normally we bid something like this out, but.
Well, if you wait too much longer.
Well,
So we're gonna spend all the-
I'm only asking, I mean, if we're willing to accept either one of these two bids. Or estimates, then we can move forward, but if we're gonna bid it out, then you can't do it.
I think we accept one of these bids because
Okay.
we gotta get it done. This has been going on too long.
Okay, so,
3 years has been since it's been.
all right, so tell us who they are then.
I called Jamie Gregory, he said declined. Ivor, do you have the price still?
Yeah, his was $1,500.
How much?
1,500 to move all in trim, and then I have one from Record Property Management as well. For 500.
What was there a difference, cause the price is.
One, I called both of them and I said, asked them both for a price for mowing, Ivor gave a price for mowing and trimming, and. My Record gave me a price for just.
I mean, we're sure that we're bidding on the same thing.
Yeah,
Is this a one-time fee or all through the year?
one time. It's not like going along, it's a,
How big is it?
No, you need
it's a decent sized field, it's got trees growing in it, because nobody decided to mow it in 3 or 4 years.
and it's steep, isn't it?
It's very, very steep, it's a very unsafe thing to mow.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're so used to having a foundation do it for nothing,
Oh,
for
yeah.
years and now.
Well, I'm just saying, but I mean, obviously, the amount is so different.
Well, one's got trimming involved and the other one doesn't.
Is the trimming, are you talking about? Like
Trimming
the
around-
trimming, i.e.
trimming
cutting
the-
down all those trees that are sticking
No,
up? or-
trimming around the edge of the pond and the spillway, so,
More or less doing it by hand.
yeah, one's doing it by hand, one's doing it with a machine, so.
Okay.
But it's still all there, no?
It's still all getting done.
A question. So, is Record Property Russell?
Yes,
So how much of an awkward situation were you in?
wasn't in an awkward situation, I asked them both the same exact question and. All three contractors, the same exact question. Yeah, the other contractor is also, I knew it was gonna be an issue, I know it was gonna be an issue, but.
Do both have workers' compensation?
Yes, they all three of them had workers,
It's not like there's a lot of options.
yeah, we have 4 contractors in town and. I'm sorry, one of them was my father.
I think I.
I get that, but we have 2 employees. Or 3 employees that do work for the town, so we can't drop all of them.
Probably not at all.
I'm just
And
stating.
We can't do business in this town without people being related to each other, I understand that.
Exactly.
But my question has much more to do with the situation you were in,
I-
which is if you sign a conflict of interest. A conflict of interest statement, how were you asked to as your own daughter, rather than a town project?
I wasn't
I think
asked to
that
ask,
should have been someone else to ask that. I could be wrong about that, I'm just wondering.
well, I'll just have them drop the price, we can pay 1,500. To have it mowed.
I think the board needs to decide.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I know, it's. So, at what point are we gonna get to who's gonna ask who to do work?
I think next time it just needs to be a written bid and it be publicized like any other bid. Then we eliminate all of this
Yeah,
weird tension, then there's no conflicts.
That's what I said before, it should have been a billion.
Oh, yeah, the relatives and all, yeah, and stuff, and this,
I get,
Well, I'm concerned that, you know, it hasn't been done in 3 years, and you're gonna pay a hefty price to have it done. But you're gonna have to manage that at least a couple of times a year, so you keep it managed.
What, if we do it, I think we should do it once a year, is really. What needs to be done to.
However, going forward, the next time, it would have just been mowed a year ago, so perhaps the price would change.
Price would probably be a lot more. by next
Okay.
year.
So maybe that eventually should be, if we can make that into a bid, I mean, that's
So
all.
how does the board want to handle this? Do we want to just pass this thing and then put it out for bid and do it next year? Or do you want to accept one of the estimates? Can't say bid, but estimates.
I know it's gonna keep growing, but is there any major harm in just waiting until the springtime
I just said that.
and like
Don't ask.
rebidding it completely?
I would
It's
say,
just an
I think
idea.
that makes sense.
let's wait, you got a hefty budget already, Brandon.
No, it's not going to grow anymore. It's not going to grow anymore.
This fraud, that's gonna
So
say,
let's,
So what is the board's wishes?
I like the way.
I like the way to rebid it. As a bid,
Okay.
I guess, I mean, it just seems right now we get two incredibly different bids that are the same scope of services, it's just too.
Are we in agreement for this? Yeah, that's what it,
I'm gonna ask if you know part of it, please.
okay, then we'll pass that, okay.
Okay, so it was. Can we make a motion out of that? So Kathy, did you move to just wait?
Yeah,
Yes, I
Rebid
moved
it
to
in the
wait,
spring?
and to rebid
we bid in the spring.
in spring.
And I'll second that.
And then could we have a vote for that?
Okay. any other
Joe, can
discussion?
we have a vote for that? Can you call for a vote?
I'm asking if we had any discussion. All in favor of Kathy's motion, say aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, the trail,
So I talked to a couple of you briefly about this.
you're just bid it out too, no?
No. No. This is just, I just got prices. Got prices to fix the trailer that we have, got prices to buy the trailer. We're probably talking about $10,000 to redo the whole trailer. So
What's the trailer for?
to move the excavator around, move a 24,000
okay,
pound
thanks.
piece of machinery in between all those people
How do
walking
you do it now?
in that trailer. I have the trailer, the trailer is rotted, falling apart, the brakes don't work, it hasn't been
Oh,
inspectable
okay.
since we got the trailer. I fell through it the other day, walking across it. It's when you got 24,000 pounds sitting on top of a trailer going through town, you get people walking around the trailer.
Have you checked out of the used ones?
I have looked at used ones, this is just to get it on your radar pretty much.
What's the new one cost?
So I got two different prices, a couple different prices, one of them was 28,000. Another one was 36,000. And the third one was 30,000
Can this one be repaired with new boards?
for $10,000, roughly $10,000. None of the people, they can't tell me unless I bring it to them and have them go through it. It needs all their wiring, it's decking, it needs cross members, it needs brakes, tires, rims. I mean, I could go for a long time.
Is it all stuff you can repair? Or do you have to send
I
it?
think, I don't know how that works, because like with a car, you can't weld on the frame or anything, and unless you're certified for inspection, and so I don't know how that works for us. But, it's also not really something I want to take on, to be honest.
Well, right now you have a safety issue.
Yeah.
I weigh 200 pounds, if I keep walking across the trailer while falling through it, I mean, it's kind of unsafe to have a 24,000 pound excavator sitting on top of it.
Well, I think we have to do something. The question is, we want to rebuild it or buy a new one? And,
Or use one.
or use it.
Look for a good second hand.
Yeah,
Check out secondhand one.
can you do that?
What size are you looking at?
20 ton.
why don't you take a look at that and then we can revisit that as our next meeting perhaps,
You can do
okay? The transportation alternative grant,
And I can talk on that.
yeah,
So we received a grant, the total amount for that was $284,000. And the town matches for 71,000, which I think that comes out to 25%. And that grant application was to replace the culvert on Fisher Hill Road, culvert number 10. So we received this grant, we have not signed the grant agreement yet. Because a few months ago, we were talking about it and we wanted to apply for the $90 million that the Vermont Emergency Management has right now for the hazard mitigation grant program, which we did submit. I believe it was seven or eight projects, and this is one of them. We did get a reminder in my email last week for a decision in terms of what we want to do with this grant agreement. Do we want to sign it or wait? Sorry, not wait, just let it go, and decline it. I did look at the capital budget and we did have $45,000 set aside for this culvert in particular. There's still a big gap there by no means. And the biggest thing was that this grant program, it was going to take anywhere between 4 and 5 years to even execute. So the cost of the culvert is definitely going to go up. We would have to have several different engineers on the project as well. So it's a lengthy project in general, so. We should either make a decision to sign the grant agreement or we can write a decline letter for this program.
How bad is this culvert?
It's the one at the bottom of Nate's driveway,
Okay.
right where the pavement turns
Yeah.
to dirt.
It's the one you have trouble with every time we have a flood.
I think you have to fix it.
Yeah, but this grant here is not gonna fix it, you ain't gonna have enough money to fix it, because the time you hire engineering, which is gonna take a good sum of that. You're gonna have to come up with a lot more than 25%. That's the only problem with it. And we don't have any extra money in the capital budget.
And what about the emergency management one?
We haven't heard back on those applications yet,
And
and I don't have a timeline
how
either.
much would that pay for this?
That grant was 100% Vermont Emergency Management funded.
Is there any way you can
Well,
check on?
I've reached out to them a couple of times, but they were literally flooded with a bunch of applications, so I can follow up again, but I don't know if I'm gonna get a response in time.
well, I reached out to you, John, but I mean, if you don't take the grant, where are you gonna get the money to replace this culvert?
Do we know how much the culvert's gonna cost to replace?
I don't know.
Well, when we
Just
did the
like-
grant application, in the spring, it was
Where you going?
we did about $300,000. Cause it's long.
Is this a box culvert?
Yeah.
So if it's gonna cost $300,000. You can't, it's not gonna happen in the capital budget.
How much is the engineering for doing it?
We estimated 20,000.
Who estimated that?
I worked with Wyndham Regional Commission to do the grant.
So you're up to 320 now.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is the grant?
284 minus 71.
So you have 71 and you got another, you're up $120,000 the town's gotta come up with.
Yeah.
And then you don't know when it's gonna be done. Do we get the money right away or is it?
It's a reimbursement program.
What does that mean?
So
Yeah,
we
you gotta
have to
pocket
pay
it.
it and then
it.
they reimburse us for it.
Yeah, but we have to wait like with FEMA, like a whole year, or do we get it right away?
It's funded straight through the state, so
So it's pretty quick?
it has been quicker, but I don't want to attest.
No, I know, but I mean, it's not one of the FEMA things where it
No.
takes 6 months or 6 years or whatever.
Right.
Oh, I mean,
Well. So we gotta decide what we want, either let it go or forget it, we'll take the grant.
If you let it go, is there any other, options to do any kind of repairs
No.
to mitigate the flooding?
But,
If you don't do it,
Yeah,
if you don't take this grant, there's no other option.
well, you've got the other one, but it's a combination of all the culverts in it. Right?
Yeah. We have that other grant program
We had another one.
with an application, we haven't heard back the,
Oh,
we can, I mean, every time there's a program, we can continue to apply for them.
but were you asking if we didn't do anything, is there something we could do
right.
at
That's
the
what I was
culvert
asking.
so that it doesn't fall?
No,
No,
Okay.
no, you have to leave it and
Either.
hope for the best or replace it.
I got you. That's, thank you.
So when it floods, it goes down the road.
it jumps the top culvert above it, then it doesn't matter, even if it doesn't jump the culvert above it. Neither one of the culverts that are right there can take the amount of water that comes down through there. Every single time, the whole entire road took 650 something yards, 650,000 yards we put in there this last flood. To get it just opened back up. So, I mean,
That doesn't solve the problem.
No.
One culvert.
you gotta put a box culvert in, it's the only thing you're gonna be able to do.
And that's $300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
the question is, do you take this grant? And do it, and take the $100 and some odd thousand out of the capital budget, or you're waiting for something else?
We don't have a capital budget, we're gonna have to raise it.
Well, yeah,
I
obviously,
mean, and there's other things to be raised too, so,
my grant, I'm not saying it isn't.
and I think we've got to speak to the man in charge, like Hardy. He's on there, ask him what he thinks.
Carter, do you hear us?
Yep. We haven't had a meeting yet to see what our actual needs are for the coming year. I think we need to do that, but 71,000, I think that'll be at least another penny or two in the capital budget if we have to do that.
But it isn't just 71, Hardy, it's more than 71.
Yeah,
It's over, it's
No.
about 120,000.
yeah. I mean, it's you'd have to raise some more money in the budget. I think we need to really look at what are our needs for next year and what can we afford.
Yeah,
Agree with you.
So when is the deadline?
Yes.
What is the deadline that we have to tell us?
Well, they sent a first reminder, so let me follow up with them and see
Okay.
how many reminders we can get.
Well, let's see, let's see, let's put it off,
Okay,
and Hardy, maybe you can have this capital budget meeting sooner than later.
I'll try.
And then, perhaps we can stall them another month or so, and then we can have a better decision. Okay? All right, what else do you have, Colby?
Tomorrow, me and Morgan are meeting with, where is she?
Ashley from Grants and Aid.
Yeah, we're gonna meet to our new grant for not this year coming, but the year after. Or no, it is next year.
It is for.
Next
Yeah,
year,
so I'll have, if we do this, and I'll have 2 grants work to do next year. I'll have Hall Ranch, pretty much all of Hall Ranch and Richards Road. We'll have another one, only be about 2 segments though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hall
Which
Ranch,
is for like ditching and road surface.
yeah,
yeah,
and other than that, we're gonna be trying to do final gradings, I guess, trying to get everything caught up before the ground freezes. Blown leaves. Trying to get everything in shape.
Woodland Mountain doesn't have to have stone line.
I don't know, I had to, technically the grade is high enough, but when they last did it, they never did it. So I'm gonna put stone in around the culverts. And then probably up the hills away from the culverts, but only on the steepest sections. Cause some of those I have to clean out very often, and it gets to the point where it's,
Well, I know we do other roads that are less steep
Yeah.
than that, and I was wondering about that.
yeah, no, we have to get on a stoning curve here.
Do you wanna touch on just an update on how it went down the road here at?
Oh,
well, we
yeah,
have the catch basin.
all done.
Okay.
Yeah, we took 3 sections, of 20 foot, 15 inch culvert and box and floor. It took us, actually, we had it in under a day, but we had to wait for the concrete to set before we could bury the box itself. Other than that, it's all done. We brought the driveway back up to the grade it's supposed to be, which took 6 yards of material. And other than that, it was good. He was very happy, so. Also, what was it, we also had a date on the new truck.
Oh, yeah,
What was that 2 weeks?
yeah, it was like end of October.
Yeah, there's an issue with this truck. The financing was. The interest rate on the finance, the truck was $20,000.
The lease it.
Yeah, to lease it. Versus paying it. But do we have the money to pay for this thing?
I mean, all,
Yeah, we're juggling money, so the later the better it comes in, from like closer to November 15th would be great, if we have taxes coming in at that point, but.
I wouldn't hold your breath in the 2 weeks. They're saying 2 weeks. The truck was also supposed to be here like 4 months ago, so. It's, could be here in 2 weeks, or it could be here in another 4 months, so.
Can you give us something in writing from the truck dealer, about that he will not be able to purchase any more trucks for the towns?
Yeah.
And when it goes into effect and all that.
Oh, you mean this electric business?
Yeah.
Unless you own an electric vehicle in your fleet, you cannot buy another
I
truck.
talked to some of the guys down at Patriot, and the owner of Patriot, where we buy our trucks, has been going out, and he's been trying to fight this. Cause if it does happen,
The Joe.
he'll go out of business. The whole electric thing is, I mean, they can't put hydraulic motors on them, pumps on them, so their trucks are useless to us. Can't put down body on it, can't plow with it. There's one way to plow over Chester and back and charge the thing for 12 hours, I mean, it's.
But we need this information in order to, capital budget, to, you know,
Yeah,
to
I'll
plan for the
I'll give him a
trucks.
call
Yeah,
tomorrow.
but I mean, we're not like a bigger town where you can have an electric car or something. I mean,
This,
you can't have an electric pickup.
well, it's not, you can't, it doesn't even matter if it's a pickup, it has to be a full-size truck. And they don't make a full-size truck that could even be useful for us.
That, you can't, it's impossible. Could you imagine with a battery got in the middle of a snowstorm and the battery dies, what are you gonna do then?
I pull more of the electric cars out in the winter time than the spring. And it's-
Well, you have to write to your legislator, and tell them.
Yeah,
Well,
well, let's get it
Or,
right,
you guys, you know,
and then we can get a hold of legislators and lobby for this stuff. It doesn't make any sense, but I.
so I'll call and get some more information on it.
And if I could just piggyback on, Colby, when you guys were asking me about, do we have the money for the truck? I did check into, because I know it's come up in the past, the state municipal borrowing thing, which does only charge municipalities 2% interest. But the most you can borrow on it is 120,000. But even that would be a help if we were to do it. They only accept applications twice a year, which is October and April. So it kind of works almost like the bond bank does, but it's actually just a municipal loan. So it might be something we can consider in the future when we meet with, the capital budget and already, maybe possibly utilizing that to pay for half of the vehicle and only pay 2% other than the full price is a discussion we're having. But we did check on it.
But didn't we make some kind of an agreement, we're gonna lease the equipment instead of,
We were gonna try to.
yeah, try to, so I guess. Because of the interest rates, we're just gonna now buy it outright, is that what the plan is?
The excavator happened to be a different scenario and they let us lease to own, and that's what we need to look at, is lease to own and not
Okay,
just.
but the truck, you can't do that.
They're just doing a straight out, like, you're borrowing money from the Chevy company type of thing, or whatever the company is.
So maybe the truck will get lost in a couple of weeks, so. we'll have to watch.
Yeah, we need it really bad. We haven't been running the truck that it's replacing because I'm scared that something big is gonna break on it and I don't wanna pay for it. So it's been parked, waiting for the new truck to come. As of right now, it needs a dump piston right now, and that's a lot more money than I have in the budget to fix that truck, so it's why it's sitting waiting.
All right, anybody has anything for
Yeah,
Cody?
couple things.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Did you ever put the stone around the front of the school where the buses and people parked is online?
Yeah, I did that. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
It
Morgan.
looked like you had stone when I went by.
I put sure pack in there and then I compacted over the top of it.
Still a mud hole.
Um,
And,
maybe
There
we put
was-
guardrail up so they stay off the lawn.
there was an email, did you ever, maybe Morgan, you know more about this, about the tree lady wanted to cut or something?
Yeah,
Has that been done?
Colby met with her and they handled it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she removed it.
How are we doing on the faded lines?
This week I called today. And I wanna go over, and get the painter. And he can't show us how to paint with it, so.
What about cemetery fence?
We're going to paint that. I picked up the paint for that. It's all built. It just needs to be painted. I gotta make some hangers to hang the fence up. And paint it. Then we're gonna spray it. With 21 panel, 20 feet, and 20-foot fence. It's gonna take a long time to hand paint, so I'm gonna use our spray gun to paint it.
Good. Anything else?
I think I'm pretty good.
Anybody have anything else for Kobe? If not, move on. The cemetery deed, it's here somewhere.
Yeah, I get it.
We didn't motion for this, we don't. This-
We did.
Oh, we do?
So it would be, for the select board clerk, which is Steve, to approve the deed for Henry Rounds Jr. and Cindy Rounds' plot. And they are purchasing a plot in Burgess Cemetery.
Oh, okay. So do we,
We just need a motion that would read that.
yeah, somebody wanna make that motion?
So moved.
Do we have any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Kim, the budget meeting dates are you guys? We have the 15th, the 29th of October, at 4 o'clock here, and then, if needed be, we have one on in November 12th, so are these okay with everybody, these dates?
I can't do the 29th.
What dates were they again?
10:15. 10:29 and 11:12, 4 o'clock to 6 here,
4 to 6
huh?
to 6.
Yeah. 4 to 6
4 to
o'clock.
6,
They're
yeah.
all on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one.
okay, you can't do it on,
I have an appointment.
So we'll do, highway will be on the 15th Thursday, right? We'll do highway first and get it out.
yeah, then you, yeah, okay. All right. If that's okay, then just put it in your calendar so we can have it's here, open meeting, by the way. Can we have anything else?
No,
Personnel committee, do you have any reports?
Um,
Okay. Flood update, do we have anything?
Jamie Gregory, the contractor who won the bid for the Bell Road culvert, he'll be starting that project this Thursday, so October 10th. He'll plan to be there Thursday, Friday, and Monday, potentially Tuesday, depending on how everything goes. So that'll be a big update once that's done. Still not a lot of movement on the Eastman block wall and the administrative costs, but I will be having a call with FEMA on Wednesday to talk more about that. John mentioned a good point this morning. If we do go ahead, when we go ahead and repair the Eastman block wall, that's gonna be $250,000 that the town doesn't have. And it's going to take a long time for reimbursement from FEMA, as we know, so I really want to talk about that with them on Wednesday.
Is Kim gonna give you some information on that?
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna call Kim Canaraki from the state tomorrow morning.
I just wanna say something that FEMA owes us somewhere between $500,000 and $600,000 still. And if you reading the news lately. FEMA's, they're deep doo-doo, and they've got $6.1 billion sitting there. In some kind of a slush fund, and I think it's absolutely horrendous. That FEMA is making a small town like us, and I can't imagine what they're doing to these other towns. Waiting to get this money that we've already paid out, and it's costing us time and money. I don't know what the solution is, I don't know who you can contact, but I tell you, I think it's absolutely outrageous. Just my comment. We need to set a date for the discontinuance of the Fisher,
Karen Fisher Drive.
driveway, road, whatever you wanna
Oh,
call it.
we have to go there.
Yes, we have to have a viewing. The plan was to have a viewing prior to the Selectboard meeting. And then coming back. And have the regular meeting, so is the 13th or the 14th available, which is better for? 13th is better for me. Okay,
That works for me.
that works for you?
Yeah, I have
Hmm?
no preference here.
Okay.
It's gonna be during the day, it's gonna
It-
be dark out.
No, it'll be earlier. Oh, really? Yeah, well, it'll be before it gets dark.
By then, it's gonna get dark at 5.
Yeah.
Right? Daylight savings and all.
As long as we go and have
So that's-
the site visit earlier than dark.
Right, yeah, then we have an executive session too at that time
Yeah, so we'll have the hearing and.
with the
we'll work
attorney.
With our attorney to.
Yeah, so that can happen and then the meeting, and then the meeting will take place after that.
These type of things really need to be worked on a lot faster than they have been. And I know you can blame the attorney and do whatever you want, but that's not really a good excuse, because I think that we made a big mistake in getting rid of the attorney we had before. And the one we have now seems to take its time on this, and this guy here would like to pave his driveway before winter. There's no way it's gonna happen, and we've known about this for a long time. And it's not right for this individual to have to wait this long.
Can't he just
Well-
plow
But
it? Can't the owner just plow it?
No, he wants to pay it, but it has to be thrown up first. And we have to do
that's throw it up, you won't pay it, you throw it up.
Well, we'll try to do better next time, John. That's something-
Well, the other thing, the way I bring it up is, we had another incident that we got after the attorney and he got right on it and it was done in 2 weeks. And I think if this, you know, if we get on the attorney on this and tell him this was really important, that maybe he would have done this too.
Could be.
So,
So we'll set November 13th for the
Yes,
viewing and I'll let the attorney. know.
enough time. Yeah. The next item is the land on 35. And I'll let John talk about it because he was the one that was the contact person.
well, I'd like to, I think I'm gonna let Kim do it. She deserves all the credit for
Okay.
this.
All right.
She started this from the very beginning and worked with it all the way through to the end until it was accomplished. So I'm gonna let Kim do it.
A few months ago, I had a caregiver of Fred Barton. He had property for 9 acres on, Chester Road, Route 35. His caregiver was concerned about a tax payment being late. And so we got into the conversation that she was caretaking for him. And, really didn't have a need for this land. In fact, she said he's talked about wanting to donate this land to his church. Well, they're in the Carolinas. So as we got talking, the little bells went off, and I'm thinking, oh, this would be nice. So I said to her, she wanted to know about any churches in this area that he's affiliated with. So she was Googling, couldn't find any in Vermont. And I said, well, if things didn't work out with the church, The problem was if he donated it to the church, he didn't want it sold. And so they were gonna check more to the church, and I said, if that falls through, I said, keep us in mind, we're always looking for land for a cemetery, and we haven't for several years. That was a great idea, I would bring it up to her. I didn't hear anything for 2 months, and she called me back. And she remembered we spoke, and she said, I talked to Fred. The church that they are affiliated with said, they really do no need for the land, they would take the land, but they would turn around and they would sell it. That's not what Fred wanted to do. So, given that, he said he would like to donate it to the town of Grafton. I was like totally thrilled and speechless. She and I talked with her, briefly said what I believe the select board would intend to do, but I would get back to her for sure. That, you know, we would take care of its current use. They had a lot of small concerns that I said the board would probably, but we would have to meet, so I've been conversing with the board. Before it actually went public, and our attorney, make sure our attorney contacted them. And the deal went through, our attorney drew up the paperwork, sent it, they signed it, had it notarized, sent it back. It's been recorded, and as of last week, we are owners of 39.8 acres more of land on Chester Road. So, yeah, a nice thank you to Fred. Right now, he was in rehab for a broken hip, I believe, at the time when we spoke, and that was during not Helena's hurricane, it was the hurricane before. So it was in the midst of all of that. But yeah, the transaction went through. John was familiar with the property himself, he had already looked at it, and we were in the process of talking. Figured it has an entrance right off 35. Whether or not it's got any potential, we're still investigating. Colby's been trying to do some investigating. It's kind of iffy, it's pretty ledgy, but it's 39 acres, and we can see what we can find or do with it. Yeah, that's exciting.
Where
don't
is
get
it?
that.
Can you describe to us where it is?
It's just after Bill Toomey's.
You know where the
Okay,
COVID,
so as you're heading to Chester.
Okay,
There's like a little, you can almost see the wording of the culvert, almost exactly where the culvert was done.
do you know where the culvert was replaced on 35, and you see the, well, it's right there, almost right
that's
before
close
that
to
culvert.
town.
It is close to town, it's right off the road. So, yeah.
And I think we should name my preference would be in honor of him, I think we should name the cemetery after him. Because because of the donation, it should be a nice effort for the family to have whatever, what's his last name is Barton. Yeah, it should be the Barton Cemetery. Yeah, I think that it would be,
And if we could have a letter sent of some sort as soon as possible.
so, anyway. Okay, any other business?
Yes, I have one thing here. We got the Brookfield contract for the 2025 maintenance on the generator at the town garage. This is just a yearly contract. It did go up from last year. Last year it was $523, and this year it will be $544. We do have budgeted $600, so I think we're covered there. We will be getting the contract for the elementary school as well, but I don't have that one yet. So, tonight I'm just looking for approval of this agreement, and then, if you want to authorize me to sign it.
Yeah. Just a note, we don't have a choice, we need to have a certified company has to do that because of the school, so that we can't, so we have, really, this is the only company that can do it for us. We've checked that in the past, but nobody would want to do it because they don't have the credentials, so. Does somebody want to make a motion to approve the contract and have walk inside?
Second. Yeah, some of it's did too.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I have one thing, the the select board committee, has been hard at work, going over the short-term rental. And we're about ready. So, what we'd like to do is, we'd like to put a notice in the Grafton News so that everybody knows, and, I'd like, that it'll be released as of tomorrow. If anybody wants to see the, proposal, and then we would have a meeting in November to discuss it, with whoever wants to come. And this way give everybody an opportunity to attend the meeting rather than trying to do it without everybody's knowledge. So, you can expect, I guess we'll be on the website tomorrow, perhaps, I guess.
Sure.
So you can all look forward to what the committee has done.
So this meeting.
And, one more thing, and, hopefully, at the next select board meeting, we're gonna have a draft of the, animal,
Dog.
the dog ordinance for us to kind of review. That's,
Thank you for working on that STR. Joe.
anything else, for anybody?
This, Morgan, this is the meeting to discuss the STRs. When does everyone have to be warned?
Yeah, Joe and I talked
many
about
days?
just having it, in a regular select board meeting.
Yeah, and we're-
The second, like,
Yeah,
of the month.
which I think is November 21st.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
November 18th.
18th, yeah. No, if there's any other business, somebody make a motion to adjourn.
So.
Hearing none.
I did.
Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye. All right.
11:18.